Forest Shuffle. This 2023 card game plays 2 to 5 players in 40 to 60 minutes. This game can be played with great patience from players 10 plus, as long as the player is able to independently read and comprehend the iconography, which we'll discuss later in the review. Designed by Koch and published by Lookout Games.
In Forest Shuffle, players compete to gather the most valuable trees, then attract species to these trees to score points. On your turn, you take one of 2 possible actions. You can draw 2 cards, either from the clearing or the top of the deck, or play a card and check the clearing. Each card has either 1 tree or 2 forest dwellers split either horizontally or vertically on the card. To play a card, you must pay its cost by discarding a number of cards face up into the clearing, making them available for other players. In addition, some species offer a bonus for paying with a specific card. Trees provide space on the bottom, top, left, and right for the split forest dweller cards. When playing a forest dweller cards, tuck the half of the card you don't want to use under the trees so your played card remains visible. After playing a card, if there are 10 or more cards in the clearing, empty and remove all the cards in the clearing from the game. The game ends immediately after drawing the 3rd winter card from the deck. Players score points from their trees and all of their flora and fauna spread throughout their forest. The player with the most points wins. So that is how you briefly play Forest Shuffle. Michael, what do you think about this one?
Ooh, I like Forest Shuffle. There's, I mentioned it in the intro. Kids as young as 10 can play. But there's a lot to figure out in those few initial plays of how the cards work together, how the trees work together, and there's quite a bit of iconography. Once that is down, the game moves, and it is all about seeking the combo.
Yeah.
And what combo am I going to fire off? And there's something that happens at the table when the whole table has one of those super combos. Anything that's more than, for some groups, maybe 20 points. For other groups, more than 60 points. But where there's a general, yeah, good one. And then I love the variable ending, the tension that is created after that, especially after that second tree comes out. It's like, well, am I going to actually be able to get all of these cards out and do what I want to do?
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes down to the very last card. Other times there's 8, 9, 10 cards left. It's like, oh, game over. So
yeah,
there's a lot that I enjoy about Forest Shuffle. How about you, Doug?
This is such an interesting can of worms for me because
I hate the game.
No.
Okay.
It has parts that I really enjoy and parts I don't care for.
Mm-hmm.
It is a game that I've warmed up on over time. I love the puzzle of the game. We talked a couple of weeks ago about Finspan, which has a very similar mechanism of giving up cards to play others.
Sure.
And then trying to receive bonuses on those cards based on the cards that you're giving up. So there's this whole structure of, I think I want to play this card, but in order to get the bonus on it, I have to give up this other card that I also want to play. And then, so do I actually do that, or do I forego the bonus? And if I do it, I'm thinking about, okay, if I put it in the clearing, is it going to last out there? Maybe I can get it back on another turn.
Maybe even the same turn. Because if you play an oak tree and you get another turn, I'm going to put this in the clearing knowing that I'm going to pick it right back up.
So doing all of that, the turn and the combo building throughout the game, I really enjoy. The 2 caveats to that I have are, this is a game, we've talked about other games like this. This is a difficult game for people familiar with the game to introduce to new gamers and not destroy them. So
you will destroy them.
Any game where you know what the combos are and all of the different cards in the deck, and then you introduce it to somebody that has no idea like how this can chain together, it can be very difficult and daunting.
Yeah.
So it is one of those games that I think if you all grow with it together and you have your game group and they're all new at the same time, it's going to be really rewarding for you. The other caveat that I have is that the scoring in this game is a nightmare. and it takes half of the time of the game to score it out. And that is like, it just comes to a screeching halt. And I'm not saying that I have any suggestions on how they could have made the score sheet better. It's just a lot of, okay, this one gets points for every one of these that I haven't. Okay, all right, that's 5 points. And then this one gets points for every other thing in my, okay, 12, 7, 12. Okay, I think this, all right, so now I've got 12 points there. And so you're doing this.
Real-time scoring brought to you by Doug.
And there's no conceivable way that I know of to make a score sheet that's better or speed up the process.
Well, what's coming, and I don't know this, but I'm surmising this, eventually we'll just be able to take a picture of it. It'll get inputted into some app or something, and it'll tell you your score, so you don't have to do all that work.
Well, that would be great.
It's coming at some point, because this is a game that I love. This game, I absolutely love Forest Shuffle. I don't know where it's going to end. There are so many expansions. We're only 2.5 years from the game first being out. There's a handful of expansions, and then there's a standalone game, Dartmouth, said, I believe, in England. That's a lot of fun. I've only played it on Board Game Arena. I haven't played that one in person, but it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. You know, it introduces a new element of marshes or bogs. I should know because I played the game, but that we're not reviewing that one. We're reviewing Base Forest Shuffle. I think I don't know where this game, this system, this enterprise will actually end. For me, the base game is enough in my collection, and it's readily available. I saw it on the shelves of Target for like $20 or $23 the other day. It's out. It's everywhere.
Now, do you think this is one of the games that, because I think I tend to think this, is this a game that the Board Game Arena or an app version, if an app version came out, is the best implementation for a game like this?
So I can't say that. I can talk about what's great about it, but there's also some significant drawbacks. That pain of having to do math, at the end with the end game scoring that you talked about, it still allows me to have fun even if I'm getting lapped. Whereas in Board Game Arena, the way that a lot of people play is with their score being public. So great, I'm at 61 and you're at 174. Well, and we're still 35 cards left in the deck. There's no way I'm catching up to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose this game by 170 points. Whereas at the table, and that's an exaggeration, but maybe not. Maybe that's an actual game that I played recently. At the table, you don't always have that. On the flip side, though, if you want something to do the bookkeeping for you, or if you just want to fire up a game and play a few turns and be able to walk away, I think this is a game that I really enjoy playing async. I don't have to play it live on Board Game Arena. I can have it going in the background. And I love the leveling system. You know, I love the fact that if somebody is an absolute Grandmaster Forest Shuffle champion, I'm probably not going to get matched up with them on Board Game Arena. They're going to be playing against people that are as good as them. So I don't know if that's helpful at all. Well, I enjoy both. I
for
really
different
enjoy
reasons.
Yeah.
Well, and then you also have the opportunity that BGA can cut down on very slow turns.
That's my one drawback with playing it in person.
Is calculating, okay, if I play this, I'm going to get this, where, highlighting or clicking on cards will tell you exactly how many points it's going to get if you add it to your forest. So it's an interesting one and I can see both sides depending on what your pain points are or things that you don't like. If you don't like analysis paralysis, then maybe the BGA thing is good. If you like blindlessly going along and not knowing how everybody's kind of doing until the end, of course in person is going to be good. If you love that tension of please don't reach across the table and pick that up, you want to play this in person.
Yeah, and that's spot on. The way that the Board Game Arena cuts down on analysis paralysis is with a timer. And so I would never do that. I can't say never, but we've never done this with our play group. I would never do this in my house where I set an actual timer.
Yeah.
But I mean, have been a part of a few games, not specifically with Forest Shuffle, but with other games with other people. It's like, ooh, that would not be a good one. You could have a 7-minute turn in Forest Shuffle just because, oh, I don't know. Oh, well, the math, if I do, but I can't give you this, and I'd have to, and then it,
Yeah.
So
Does it surprise you that this game has a higher BGG rank than Meadow or Earth?
no.
Interesting.
No, I think this game is great, Doug.
Well, I agree.
And-
I'm just my point for for bringing that up is I feel like Meadow and Earth got so much more buzz in the hobby than Forest Shuffle did, but clearly Forest Shuffle is liked more than the other two.
Well, a couple things happened, and this is just from my experience. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But in my experience, when I wanted to get the game, I couldn't because it was sold out everywhere. So
Sure.
that did create some hype.
Yeah.
And it's a great game. So
Yeah.
now that it is readily available, I'm thrilled that it's out and people know what it is, and I'm not going to look like a weirdo if I just bring this card game to the table. To answer your question directly, the gameplay, it still plays fast. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
3 or
it's
4
not-
people, it's a
and-
40-minute game, whereas
Yeah,
with
and
Earth and Meadow, those two games, those are 90-minute games. If we're
I'm
playing
not bringing
with
it up
yeah.
as a knock on Forest Shuffle.
No, I just trying to give you a direct answer.
Yeah, I was surprised
Hmm.
because I assumed based on the media coverage that Meadow and Earth coming out in the exact same year as Forest Shuffle, Meadow a couple years before that, but falling into that big nature vacuum with Cascadia
Gotcha.
and all of those that came out. I was surprised by how all of the attention that Earth got as game of the year, and this is the best game that came out. I was surprised to see that Forest Shuffle was 42 spots ahead of Earth in
That's
the
interesting.
overall ranking is my point. And I enjoy Forest Shuffle more than Earth. So I fall in line with that, but I just, like I said, based on media coverage, I would have assumed that it would be the inverse, that Earth would be creeping up towards Arc Nova the way that people have talked about it compared
Yeah.
to Forest Shuffle being closer. So,
And I don't care for Meadow. I really enjoy Earth, and I love Forest Shuffle. And I think the other thing that I said this a little bit, but I love just holding the cards and seeing the
Yeah.
cards that are out in the clearing as well, and thinking about, how can I that hand management aspect of Forest Shuffle. I don't have the fiddly bits that I have with a lot of the other nature games where I'm getting screen printed meeples out, and I got to make sure that I'm counting and bookkeeping, and are people having fun? I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm playing a good old card game here.
well, and I think go ahead.
I'm
Sorry.
just very interested to see where the system goes and where it ends.
Yeah.
Because I've played 2 of the expansions and the standalone game, and I'm just curious to see, like, where's the end of Forest Shuffle? Is it going to have a super deluxeified big box game for $400 down the road at some point? So
Yeah, I also like that the your strategy. You can like to do a strategy in general, but if you don't get those cards and they're not coming out, you need to pick whatever strategy is in front of you, which I think is cool. There's a lot of games that have these are your 4 or 5 different strategies, and sometimes you just fall into the same one over and over again because that's what you like to do. This one, you have to work with what you have and
Yeah.
kind of build your strategy around there. You might not be able to go after the big cat or bear strategy or the giant tree strategy if those things don't come out. So I think that's interesting.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say about it, I like the feeling that I get. I can't believe I'm saying these words. This could get clipped up and used back at a bad time. I actually like the feeling that I get when I lose and somebody else played a great game. I think because it plays fast, but I still feel like I get to play a full game. It's like, yeah, the cards didn't come out. I didn't get the combos to fire off. I took some poor choices. And then I see somebody else over there who pushed up on 200 points and had an incredible game. Is like, well, that's where my cards are. Why didn't I see that as the game unfolded? I was so focused on my own forest and what I'm building out that I didn't look and see what other people were doing at the table. So to your point about being able to be tactical, I think that's where repeated plays can really help out and come in and see, like, why aren't my combos firing? Oh, because all of the pretty little rabbits are sitting over there. Okay, I need to look at that. They're tucking the rabbits. I might have to shift and do something different. I'm not getting the rabbits this game. So that's without excessive card counting. That I think happens in a lot of other games.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So that is Forest Shuffle from Lookout Games.